Safe Teen Steps, a very relevant title in today's digital age. This book deals with tough topics like social media addiction, cyberbullying, harassment, relationship, among other taboo topics. Her previous book, Baby Steps to Big Dreams, is a bestseller book on parenting, and it also has the honor of being the only book to have been read at an United Nations COP event. So today, Dr. Shroff would be talking to us on total parenting solution. Before going ahead, we also have a video that we would like to play, but even before that, I would like to announce that the two books that I have mentioned, as you can see, she plans to distribute them after the session as well. So that's a bonus for all of you. But for now, before we have her on stage, let's take a look at this video. So I'll just like to inform that Mr. Anantha Krishnan B would be conducting the chat with Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff.
Namaskar, I am Anantha Krishnan from Calorex Group, and we welcome you to a partnership with parents to achieve the NEP's goals of mental health and emotional resilience in students. If you are an educator or represent management, you are pivotal and central to delivering and establishing the fact that mental well-being comes before academic excellence as strongly recognized in the NEP 2020. In the past 18 months, we have presented to you Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff's contribution to the education fraternity, popularly known as Total Parenting Solutions. As we keep adding new solutions to TPS each year, this year we bring to you an added dimension of VUCA steps, aimed at building emotional resilience in students, which is essential for surviving in a volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous VUCA world of the future. Let's take a brief look of our tour across the vast expanse of India, as well as at several prestigious international forums such as United Nations, COP28, B20 and the World Economic Forum in Davos, as we triumphantly completed 108 transformative sessions. If you are a stakeholder of the education fraternity, we urge you to act now. We bring to you many offerings. It's important that you begin today and now. 1. Give children the tools they need to thrive emotionally and socially. Our VUCA Steps deck is designed to help kids build self-awareness, resilience and empathy. 2. Join our transformative parent community network, PCN, and discover the tools, insights and community support. Take the first step because your child's future starts with you. 3. Be AI ready to make smarter, more informed parenting decisions. Download our AI-powered Maya AI Parenting Steps app today and unlock personalized insights, expert tips and real-time guidance. Please join us in our journey to create resilient and empathetic students who will be better prepared to thrive in an increasingly VUCA world where human race and AI will intermingle and coexist. Thank you.
Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. Bhubaneswar, the city which is close to her heart and to my heart. Her heart because she's an Oriya, and to my heart because I spent my best 5 years of my time in this city. I will not, come in between you and Dr. Shroff, who is yours already. A lot of things that she has done for the state and for the country, which we'll be talking about shortly. I'll take my question straight away to Dr. Shroff. Ma'am, you have been into the field of education 3 decades now, 30 plus years. You just celebrated the 30th year a short while back. You've done a lot of work in policy writing, In fact, even you have been a part of the NEP process. You've done a lot towards the examination reforms of this country. You have done a lot towards societal reforms in the country again, societal development in the country. Last 2 years, you have been particularly concentrating on parenting. Why have you shifted into parenting? One, why do you see this as an urgency that you have to act? And where do you see this country going towards the parenting factor?
Jai Jagannath, Namaskar. In this next 30 minutes, if you are remotely connected to any students, if you're a parent, you're a chacha, you're a brother, you're a grandfather, I promise you, आपकी नज़रिया बदल जाएगी. I promise you, you will be much more responsible for the youth growing up in your home than you are today. So look forward to those 30 minutes with that promise, and I will deliver. When you talk about the youth, you have to know who they are. You believe that they are growing up to be like you. You believe that you can secure their future by giving them some basic education, some engineering skills, and a job. You are forgetting that the youth that is growing up today is going to be working neck to neck and shoulder to shoulder with machines. You are forgetting that the youth that is growing up today is going to be in and out of space. Sunita Williams has spent 9 months in space. That is like taking rebirth. Who thought it was possible? The children growing up today will be spending weekends in space. Are we really preparing the youth for this life? Are you really preparing the youth for that future? And the answer is resoundingly no. Nothing in this country or its policy or in its understanding is preparing the future of this world, which we call a VUCA world. The word VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. That is the world that we are going to put our children into. I do not consider myself to be an author. I'm a crusader for children's safety. It is from that position that I started to write because I could reach a larger audience. I'm so grateful for Kalinga to give me this platform to reach out to you and talk to you about what we should do.
Certainly. Your first initiative towards writing, towards Total Parenting Solutions, which happens to be the first book in 2023. It also happens to be the bestseller, which also happens to be the book to have ever been read in a United Nations COP summit. Happens to be a book launched by a president of a country. Happens to be a book which is actually practiced by over 50,000 educators and stakeholders in the country, called Baby Steps to Big Dreams. This particular book, like the Bhagavad Gita, as in chapter 16, Adhyaya 16, deals a great detail in fear. Why fear? Why should a child have fear in his heart and soul? How to eradicate fear? It talks about reasons why a child shows tantrums. It further talks about issues and dangers like screen time, as to what we call as the iPad generation, right? Can you please elaborate a bit on these particular topics?
I'll take all of these three. Let's start with, there are two fundamental emotions in humankind, love and fear. Love is easy. As a parent, you give more than love. But as a parent or a grandparent, are you dealing with fear? Because fear is what binds a person, limits a person. Tomorrow, if you teach them fear of robotics, if you teach them fear of artificial intelligence, they can never grow. So this book deals with the kinds of fears that children can go through. There's a list of fears. Fear of darkness, fear of strangers, fear of loud noises, fear of wardrobes, fear of heights, fear of doctors, fear of insects, fear of rejection by friends, fear of ghosts, fear of losing loved ones, fear of evil people, fear of disappointing parents, fear of failure at school, fear of world events. The point is not the list. The list can go on. The point is, if they're fearful about anything, they've acquired fear. And that you have to deal. You have to make a fearless individual. I'm not saying risk-taking should not be calculated, but you have to get rid of fear. And therefore, this book talks about how to talk. It book is, in chapters, in ages. So if your child is 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or even 10, pick up the relevant chapter and talk according to that. So that was my first one on fear. Let me talk to you about tantrum and why it's important. Even as adults, you display tantrum. आप रूठ जाते हो, आप बात नहीं करते हो, आप खाना नहीं पकाओगे किसी दिन. If you're working in an organization, you're throwing temper tantrums. This happens because nobody's dealt with tantrums as a child. Tantrums is not indiscipline. Tantrums is something that one needs to talk about. Tantrums can be because the child is frustrated, can't explain. Can be because there's no release of emotion. Can be because they're not feeling understood. If you don't deal with tantrums, it becomes a permanent feature in your life, which you can really do without. Because human beings are supposed to be balanced. Let me come to the third one, which is anyways a very close topic to my heart, the iPad generation. Today, the digital device is being used as a babysitter. मैं रसोई कर रही हूँ, ये ले लैपटॉप, ये ले आईपैड, ये ले फ़ोन. मैं मेरी फ्रेंड से बात कर रही हूँ, ये ले फ़ोन. मैं बिज़ी हूँ, ये ले फ़ोन. Without realizing the damage that we are doing. Let me tell you, let me just bring quickly to some, you know what happens when people take drugs? It gets into your bloodstream, correct? And when you stop it, there is withdrawal symptoms. Today, children are digitally addicted. आप अगर device उनसे ले लेते हो, they will roll on the floor crying. They will hit you. They are already addicted. Besides that, there's a whole lot of things that are happening. You're familiar with the term ADHD? ADHD means short attention span. Young children जो device देखते रहते हैं, they develop ADHD. They cannot concentrate in classroom. If they are always on the phone, we talk about the frontal lobe already, which is not developed. See, छोटे बच्चों में brain is not fully developed. It takes up to 20 years to develop. So when the child is constantly looking at radiation, it's impacting his brain. When a child is constantly staring at the screen, the radiation is impacting the frontal lobe, and the frontal lobe is thinning. Premature thinning of the frontal lobe is happening due to excessive screen time. We are beginning to call it digital dementia in children. You know the term dementia? It happens after 70 years. We are using these terms for children in the classroom today. So those were the three terms that you wanted me to discuss. I dealt with fear, tantrum, and iPad generation, which is a big menace today.
I mean, iPad generation is also a small example. This iPad thing made me spend about 17 lakhs 2 months back. I was reversing my car. A message of my boss came. I looked at the message. My reverse kept on saying 5 meters, 4 meters, 3 meters. I didn't care for that because my boss is on my mobile. I'm reversing and I'm seeing my boss. And I banged my car onto a pillar. The guy said 3 lakh rupees towards rectifying. I said, forget it, buy a new car. So this is happening on day in, day out in the road. Children are on the mobiles while riding a scooter, riding a bike, riding a car. We are also doing it. So these are not only limited to the homes, the problems are across the iPad generation problems, right? So this book really deals very sharp onto these factors. Going ahead, ma'am, the second book of yours, which is again, it's a sequel and a groundbreaking sequel, in fact. It is towards safety of teenagers in the internet world, right? It talks about empathetic insights on tough topics like real versus real, identity crisis, gaming issues, online relationships, cyber sex, online fraud, right? And many such more issues which are supposed to be taboo topics like catfishing, grooming issues, sextortion, sexting, right? Being an educator, after the first book and after having done 5 attendances at United Nations COP events and other events of World Economic Forum, Davos, such events, why did you feel is the need for this particular book, and how can this book keep the youngsters of today safe in the internet world?
I hope you know that by class 3 or 4, children are on the internet. Let me explain the laws first to you. India is currently going through what we are calling a DPDP Act. It's still not tabled in Parliament, which says that until the age of 16, without parent consent, children cannot be on the internet. But the international laws called COPPA, which Facebook, Instagram, and others follow, says age 13. And you know, there's absolutely no regulation. A child can go and say any age and you can get into the system. You know that. So almost all children by grade 4 are on the social media. In the last 1 year, you know, my moment of truth was in Davos. Davos is an economic forum which talks about policies, economy, it's talking about, you know, trade wars, etc. And here I went as an author of 2 books on children, and I was really wondering, what am I doing there? Everybody familiar with Davos? World Economic Forum Davos? I was asking myself, what am I doing here? So my session was post-lunch session, and you know, the organizers had said, carry your books so we can display them. And my books were displayed, and just before, you know, the lady was very kind, picked up my books and showed that these are the books she's written. I wanted to do something like that. So when I started my panel, I wanted to pick up 2 books and say, see, these are the books I've written. And I go over and I see that none of the books were there. And for a minute I was like, did they not display the books? And I asked them, they said, of course we've displayed all the books. The first reaction was, of course, oh my God, my books are picked up. And then I'm thinking, nobody knows the M of Manjula Shroff here. I'm writing on children. Why are the books gone? And I sit in the panel very happy and saying, you know, I wanted to show the book, but it's not the etc., etc., etc. At the end of it, a lady walks up to me and says, you know, in Davos, they have different buildings do different themes. In Davos, there was a whole building for 5 days, 6 sessions a day, only dealing with safety of children online. It is a world epidemic. I cannot overstate the fact that social media will ruin society. Let me give you some statistics that will really shock you. So, 30% of children between ages 60 and 34 are depressed once a week. Depression is real. In our classes, grade 9 to 12, children talk openly about suicide. Openly about suicide. These are not taboo. These are fashionable words. Cyberbullying, in a survey conducted by McAfee India, India ranks number 1 in cyberbullying. And this cyberbullying is so relentless, 24 hours. When children become teens, from pre-teens, the amount of body shaming they go through online. I mean, how is a 12-year-old going to deal with body shaming? What have you taught them? What emotional resilience have you taught them to deal with body shaming online? AI girlfriends. Norm. There is a case actually in US where a boy committed suicide because his AI girlfriend said he could not deal with the So here's what it goes. Character.ai is a software of Google, which allows you to create a girlfriend of your dream. She will talk the way you want to do. She will dress the way you want. You don't have to take no. So here is a boy of 14 who had a relationship with a girl, AI girl, and the family knew it. And they thought it was okay because they thought it is AI, right? But we are forgetting that there's a young mind not formed. Sometimes they spend so much time online, they forget what is the real world. They start to believe that the real world is real. So this boy kept getting engaged with this AI girlfriend and could not bear the separation. And there is a whole chat screen, because today it is being fought in court in law in USA. There's a whole chat screen. Before the child died, what he said to the girlfriend. He said, I can no longer bear this separation from you. And the AI said, you have to leave your human body. And the boy committed suicide. Today the mother is in court for Google and Gemini and character.ai, and it's being much debated. But the reality is that it can happen. It is happening. Children no longer respect each other. Online जिस गंदगी से बात करते हैं, they're commenting left, right, and center on private parts online. You think they'll respect offline? How? How will they know what is right from wrong? Today, children pornography material is available everywhere. You know why? In India, downloading adult pornography is a crime, but not children porn. The auto rickshaw wala जो आपके बच्चों को स्कूल लेके जाता है, वो ऑटो रिक्शा में बैठ के पूरा दिन पोर्नोग्राफी देखता है, चिल्ड्रन पोर्नोग्राफी देखता है, and then your children come back to the same auto rickshaw or your driver who you trust so much. I can't even blame that auto rickshaw. He's in his rickshaw wala. He's in his 20s, 30s. His hormones are talking more than his brain. This is happening. Every child is unsafe. The dramatic increase in children offenses in India in the past 10 years is because of this availability of inappropriate child pornography in our society. According to Pornhub, India ranks number 3 amongst 30 most porn-watching countries of the world, and they are watching children porn. That is the reality to which you are gifting your children a smartphone.
Carrying this forward, digital addiction. It is said that digital addiction is even more alarming than substance abuse. Why is it so? How does this book deal with it?
See, when the child gets addicted digitally, what will you do? How will you de-addict the child? In substance abuse, which is drug abuse, we take them to a de-addiction camp जहाँ पे drugs नहीं मिलते हैं. Where will you take children जहाँ पे internet नहीं मिलता है? Korea has actually started de-addiction weeks. America has started phone-free schools. Why? Because 9th graders, when they get out during the breaks, do you know what they are watching? Beheading videos. There is a mother who's saying that if my 9th standard, which is what age, 13, 14-year-old, is having fun watching beheaded videos, how will I teach him that it is wrong? There is a case that we are currently dealing with in Gujarat. On Holy Day, a college youth, borrowed a car from somebody. He had got into a tiff, it seems, with some girl, Nikita. He borrowed a car. He was drunk on Holi. In Gujarat, you know that you can't even drink and drive. You can't drink. It's a dry state. There was a scooter that he ran in. There was a mother and a child going to buy holy colors. Mother died. Child was in the hospital. The boy gets out of his car and is screaming, I want a second round. I want a second. He thinks it is a gaming. Because they do these gamings, right? They knock off people on the road. They do not know. They are addicted. Their brains can't decide what is right and wrong.
Yeah.
He got out, it's all on CCTV. He's screaming, I want a second round. Because he thinks he was doing fast driving on the gaming and knocking people off. वो तो होता रहता है. You get marks. For knocking people off, you get marks.
That's the real versus a real life issue, right? So is this the validation that this book also talks about? You know, it talks about validations, right? In the real versus real life, what are these validations? Why do children do all these things?
See, there is a chapter in the book called Real versus Real. First, let me tell you what is happening in the real life. You know, TikTok is banned in India. Everybody knows, right? TikTok got this formula very right. The real formula. उन्होंने क्या किया? Every 60 seconds, one new topic will come. You know, आप ऐसे करते रहते हो? New topic will come. Autoplay. You don't even have to press it. It will start. And infinity scroll. Think about yourselves. आप ऐसे करते हो ना 3 घंटा निकल जाता है. Do you even retain what you saw? Nothing. Substandard content. As long as companies will get payment for you to watch hours of watching, they will give you substandard content and keep you engaged, and they will make money. Today, what is happening? Your children are getting commercialized. Some corporation is making money because they are spending hours and hours on reel. So are you, by the way. If you can't stop yourself, how can a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old who's getting good stuff like sex online? So what happens is, how many of you on Insta? See, this crowd, only 3 people are. Yo. Hey, you, all of you at the back, all those kids, raise your hands and say you're on Insta. How many of you on Finsta? Finsta? Sinsta? This is where all the activity happens. So in order to create a real, especially the kids in the room, the college kids, this is especially for you. In order to create an Insta account, you know that you need a real email account, a legit email account. That is what we call the real Insta account. After that, all children create Finsta accounts, multiple fake accounts. And the secret account is the dark web, which children understand. You will not even understand even if I try to explain to you. Children can navigate. You see, they are born into this environment. They are native to digital. So what the children are doing in these fake accounts, sexting is happening. Everybody familiar with the word sexting? Any text with a sexual connotation is sexting. It is in the fake accounts that these sextings are happening. Cyber dating is happening. Cyber sex is happening. And children believe that they are safe. In India, sexting is a IPC crime, criminal offense. That is why the beer biceps, etc., FIR hua. Everybody familiar with what happened to India Got Talent? India Got Latent?
Latent.
India Got Latent and beer bicep. Everybody familiar?
Allahabadiya. Allahabadiya.
You're familiar, right? Why FIR got filed? Because anything inappropriate you talk is criminal offense. So the children are indulging with the fake account thinking they are safe. The reality is the fake account is created from the real account. You are never safe online. There is always footprints online. And this is what we need to tell our younger generation. One is we don't teach them. Second is we give them the access to the whole world without teaching them even laws. And that's where we as adults and educators and parents and grandparents, we are at fault. It's not the children's fault. It's our shortcoming.
Fantastic. Next. In line with the, you have been a writer to the NEP, to the government also. You have been contributing to different chapters of NEP. NEP talks a great deal about mental health and well-being, right, and emotional well-being. So you also, under the NEP guidelines, you have worked upon something called as VUCA deck. You have worked upon 3 things. I'll bring all the three in picture. You can kindly explain one by one. Yeah, because we have to. So, VUCA deck under the NEP guidelines. Parent network, which is a very important phenomena today. And ladies and gentlemen, let me, before even she goes into these two topics, let me announce that there is a Maya AI parenting app, right? Maya is nothing but the India's first artificial intelligence teacher mentor influencer, which incidentally is also the clone and avatar of Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff. The first clone and avatar for the cause of education created by educators in India, and Dr. Shroff takes the credit for that, right? So ma'am, Maya, Parent Community Network, PCN and VUCA. How are they connected? What benefits do they get to the parents?
First, let me tell you why is sabki zarurat hi kyun thi. Australia has banned social media till 16 years. Belgium has banned social media until 13 years. Finland, which is considered the leader in cognitive learning today, is going back to pen and pencil. India is still defending. There is a High Court ruling of Delhi saying बच्चों को phone नहीं दोगे तो secure कैसे रहेंगे? We are working towards a smartphone-free childhood. You want to keep your children safe, we understand. There are many technology devices available. The first one you can give them is a brick phone, जहाँ में smartphone नहीं है. The second you can give them is a pod, जो आपके bag में GPS track करेगा. The third thing you can give them is a watch, where they can talk to you. Technology is supposed to keep your children safe, not to harm them. When I started to talk to educators, I realized that I have to talk directly to students. But without getting parents onboarded into this understanding, we cannot make India safe. And the only way we could reach out is by creating parenting networks. Because parenting is not one time, parenting is a daily affair. So we started to create parenting networks. We started to write books so that children can be taught. There are terms like catfishing, predators, etc. Children are now being taught these terms, how to stay safe online. So through NEP, which essentially talks about mental health, and I'm just going to give you one last example before I close. If a child is being threatened that her nude pictures are going to go viral online, and this happens by classmates only, how do you expect her to pay attention to mathematics? How? But this is what we are doing in class. And that's where we are telling teachers, mental health comes before academic excellence. So whether it is a parent, whether it is a teacher, we need people to get on our network so we can train them. That's why the network. And of course, I am literally traveling all over India, talking directly to students. 9th graders, 11th graders, undergrads, talking about perils and giving them strategies to keep them safe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Just a couple of words before we finish off, ma'am. I'm a parent to a teenage girl who is going to complete her graduation shortly. When she was about in the standard 11th, I thought I have actually lost my child in terms of relationships, right? This book made me find her back. Today I retain 2 copies of this book, one scribbled yellow and blue for my usage, and one kept in a drawer. 10 years later, when she will become a mother, she'll need it. And this book is to keep children safe in the internet world. Dr. Shroff has been kind enough to carry a few copies with her here. She's distributing it here to all the people present here. Kindly take advantage of his books. If you're a parent, you can read these books. You can read along with your children. If you're a parent, you can join the parent community. If you're an educator, as per the NEP guidelines, the VUCA steps and the VUCA deck can help you make and bring resilient children into your schools, right? A lot can be done to this country to keep this country safe. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Jagannath. Ma'am is available on the table for the distribution of the books, please.
Well, I think that was one of the most enlightening sessions so far. Can we have a huge round of applause? I'm sure a lot of us who are parents can so very well relate with this. Thank you so much.